was just on Kick and on Twitch. And on that word, I would say anybody who watches me on either YouTube, Twitch, Kick, all of these great platforms for me to get my voice out, there is one that I need everybody's help. And please go to my Rumble and smash that follow button there. I need 5 viewers. That is not a lot. I need 5 followers to be able to stream on Rumble. I would very appreciate your help with that platform. 5. It's been a struggle trying to find 5. I'm guessing there's not as much traffic on Rumble as there is on YouTube, and therefore I need everybody's help so that I can also stream on that platform. So here we go again. We are Friday, and so yeah, he passed a law and basically gives him the right to censor Canadian content. So he will be YouTube is going to kind of be forced to promote more Canadian content within Canada. So Canadians are not going to see as many YouTubes from the States or everywhere in the world. It'll be more Canadian, and the Canadian content that they will be seeing is from the big media, so not necessarily independent voices. Like I previously mentioned, big corporations have received a lot of money during the pandemic from the government, and they're not going to want to bite the hand that feeds them. And in return, since YouTube does not likes to do its own thing and doesn't like government telling them what to do, we are going to head towards this moment where my voice is not going to be seen outside of Canada either. Like, okay, Canada passed this law. You want us to regulate everything that's going on within Canada, but your products are not going to be seen outside of Canada. So it's really unfortunate. And I guess the only way for us to deal with this is to hold elections and vote for somebody else. That's the only way to possibly change this. And this shuffle that I was talking about, that a lot of these ministers, you know, our prime minister is trying to promote the message that we are listening to the population and we will start addressing the issues. And this will be better for everybody. But we all know that they're not going to backtrack because all of this came from the top down and the top guy is still there. We had such high hopes for this prime minister. We were hoping he would bring in a new way of thinking and bring back honesty and virtue to the government. Instead, it's just been chasing the popular agenda, and it hasn't been good for nobody. It's all part of the big lie, which I will call the big lie. And in America, it's pretty much the same thing. Every topic now that is pushed through the medias and everything else is all about topics that divide, polar opposites, division. You're either far right or far left. There is no middle ground. and one is not allowed to talk to the other because then you are labeled a traitor. And it's really sad. We need to be able to voice our opinions. We should have the ability to discuss with opposing points of views in the attempt to find some middle ground, in the attempt to try to find a way that we can move forward together. We need topics that unite us. That's just my 2 cents, but our governance, the big corporations, wants us to concentrate and divide us, the little people, while they do stuff that we are not aware of because we're not paying attention. We are distracted by all these little things. So, cabinet shuffle, everybody's switching around, so we don't need elections because our prime minister has heard us and he's addressing the issues, and everything is going to be rosy from now on. But you just look at it, these ministers that used to hold these positions were 200% loyal to our prime minister, and out of the 7 main ministers, 4 of them are actually gone. They no longer do anything, and they have their retirement to look forwards to. Their reputation has been tarnished to the point that nobody wants anything to do with these individuals. Wow. So that's how loyalty is rewarded here in Canada. Not a good thing. Okay, let's transition back here because enough of politics. Canadian politics. I'm not going to even approach what's going on in the States. Everywhere in the world, pretty much, we are getting lost in all these side issues, whether it be Black Lives Matter and the trans community, the gay community. I mean, over the past decade, arguments have become so decisive. And Canada was one of the first countries where we recognized gay marriages. I don't go around, telling people you need to address me one ways or another. I have a name. You may or may not address me by my name. And that's good enough for me. You may call me by my first name, my last name, whatever. And a lot of actors can be addressed as their stage name. That's okay too. I think we should all, you know, within all these pronouns, people, we should come back to the first one, which please address me as a human being. I am a human being. I am not perfect. Far from it. I make mistakes. I have emotions. I have feelings. I just, to the best of my ability, want to do what's right. And even chasing that idea ends up sometimes being the wrong thing. So please do not judge me for the shades of gray or the interpretation of what we are trying to achieve. I want to look after my family. I want to look after my friends. I don't want any harm to come to anybody. But if there are people out there that do want to cause harm, then, there is ways to deal about that. So we need to address how are we going to deal with those issues. Currently, I don't know how it is in the States, but here in Canada, we spend a lot more money on our inmates than we do on our pension funds, retirement funds, and elderly care and all this stuff. You get to a certain age where you can't feed yourself and all you get is soup. And you go into prisons and hey, it's Mexican night and it's, sushi night and it's, you know, all these other fancy meals. You get showers, you hot water showers and everything else, and an elderly maybe gets a bath once a week. So we need to put our priorities straight, and we need to start paying attention to what's going on. And honestly, I don't know what's going on. All I know is that we are constantly facing this lie. And I'm getting at a certain age where, when I grew up, my grandfather was part of the Second World War, and nobody wanted to go through that again and try to make the world a better place, a place where people can discuss their differences to avoid wars. And somewhere along the line, my parents' generation grew up having really no real concerns and being able to do what they wanted to do. And my grandparents wanted to create a world where, you know, the world would be a better place for his children, and they did that. And then my parents' generation came in and say, "Hey, look what I can do. Look at what I can do. Look at what I can achieve. Look at all the money I'm achieving. I am a success. I." And we created a generation that was only thinking for themselves instead of thinking of making the world a better place for the next generation. I have some black friends, some Chinese friends, some Vietnamese friends, some Asian friends, and some Arab friends. I have, gone through my life and made friends with all different races, sexes, genders, and sexual orientation people that were private about it, but you can still know. I could look at a picture of an individual and say, well, this is that, and this is, and the other one was not necessarily agreeing with, you know, hey, Spidey, how's it going? How are you today? How's your Friday going? It's Friday. The weekend is just around the corner here in a couple of hours. I am good. I am good, and I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm anxious to see how the blockbusters at the movie theaters will work out. Is Barbie still gonna reign supreme or is it gonna jump down a cliff? I'm hoping it'll jump off a cliff, but who knows? It's well on its way to make $1 billion for a crappy movie, in my opinion. I have not seen it, but. So, yeah, have you got anything planned for your weekend or you're just gonna chill and that's okay too, because it's very hot. Here it's really hot. It's been hot for the past month now, and I have a little bit of yard work to do, like cutting the grass, weeding out the stuff, and and my neighbor who once in a while gives me a hand cutting my grass because I'm half paralyzed, so you don't see it here on camera, but I can't walk properly. So cutting the grass for more than 5 to 10 minutes is torture for me. But he's also good. Hey, cat, get out of the way. Get out of the way, kitty cat. Move, 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 move. Come on, get down from there. Get down from there. Oh, sorry about that. My cat wants to eat. I'm who what? I use YouTube BC because I've had a bad connection on Twitch. Oh, it's all good. Yeah, especially in Iraq. I would guess so, but not really. It's hot everywhere, and it has nothing to do with global warming. I mean, we are coming out of an ice age. How did the ice melt if all the humans were frozen in ice? I don't think that, cavemen was driving around in their cars causing the global warming back then, but somehow all the ice melted. Uh, okay. So then I have a question. Do you go to school on the weekends? Like, do people actually go to school on the weekends? I'm guessing probably not on Sundays, but maybe there's Saturday class. I don't know. I know a lot of Europeans, their weekends are 3 days long. So it's a 4 day work day week, which is different from here. Here you have one job during the week and then another job during the weekend to make ends meet because the economy is not good. You know, even yesterday I was watching, some news video about truckers. Truckers used to be able to afford to buy a house. And over the past 10 years, they've been reduced to earning minimum wage. So basically, truck drivers are now living in their trucks. They can all, they're not making enough money to buy a house anymore. Ah, going to college. Okay. Well, then that's a good thing. I don't really know if it's a good thing. I just know that the education system has changed throughout the years. It seemed like when I was a kid, we would go to school to become smarter. And it seems now you're going to school and the government is trying to tell you how to think so that you follow, the king or the queen's point of view and agree with everything that they say. So when I was a kid, we were taught like independent thinking. I can think for myself, so I could, see an issue and think about it and have an opinion about it. Nowadays, it seems that we are educating people to become, you either think like us or you're a bad person. So I don't know. I don't think that is making smarter people. But you know, there's like I said a little bit earlier, there's this big lie and nobody's aware of it because there's so many little issues that are so divisive. So I don't know what the big lie is. I just know that everybody's lying and everybody's distracted by little issues. Like, I identify as a pigeon. Please address me as a pigeon because I feel like I have wings and I can fly and I'm a pigeon. It makes no sense. My pronouns are human being, Please treat me as a human being. I wish you no harm, and I don't want any harm to come to me, my friends, and my family. I would like to find a job and provide a good life for my children and my children's children, and I want the next generation to be better off than this generation. Now, I would like to discuss with everybody else, how do we go about doing that? That should be the main topic of everybody. Not, you're this race, you're that race, you're this religion, you're that religion, you're evil, I'm good. You need to think like I do. That's not the way to go about things. School without friends is nothing. Uh, you know, I I was distracted in school, to be honest. You know, I liked to hang out with my friends, and I liked, all these different things, and I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have to the school. But that was the school's fault, I think. We had good teachers, we had bad teachers, and slowly all this, like I said, initially we were there to learn stuff to make us smarter, but then politics got into the schooling. And when you're doing like your English course or your French course or whatever language you're doing, you had to be political in your writing. You either had to agree with the current politics and explain why you agree, or if you were not thinking like everybody else, you would get a bad grade. So, yeah, even back when I was a kid, I could see that things were changing, where I went from, well, this is how you write what you're trying to express, to what you're expressing is more important than the way you're expressing yourself. You're graded on the message, and instead of, writing the words and spelling the words and learning new words to be able to express yourself. No, I did not watch Barbie. I've seen a couple of reviews about Barbie, and once in a while they will show you clips from what's going on in the Barbie movie. How can I say, of all the crappy movies that we've seen about woman power and all the men being toxic people, this is the movie that should be woke. Or this is the movie that should push the agenda. And they do it. They really did it. And I'm happy for them. I still think that you needed to do a story for children. Unfortunately, a lot of parents that my friends brought their daughters to this movie were like, this was not made for her. I don't want her asking me questions about this movie. It's not subjects that I want to approach with my daughter, but I guess I kind of have to. No, it's not a review per se. I give a glimpse of why basically I'm not gonna go and watch it because uh, it's it's not a review, it's a review of mostly the agenda behind the movie. Like this movie did not hide its message. Well, they kind of did hide it. They were saying this was a movie for everyone in all ages, and young daughters, girls, boys maybe. will love this movie. But it's not a movie for children. It's a movie for old white women that hate men. And the movie is all about men are evil, women are just great no matter what they do. Unfortunately, yesterday I did want to make a couple of videos and I got distracted with real work. Like I said, I had to do a couple of yard work yesterday and you know, I can only cut the grass for 5 minutes, so I need to take an half an hour break, cut the grass for 5 minutes, take another break, cut the grass for 5 minutes. So it takes me all day just to do the front yard, and I didn't even touch the backyard. And I also have to do my neighbor's yard because he's been operated. He does have a tractor to do his lawn, but it's broken, so and he's being operated on, so he won't be able to do much for the next week, so I have to do my share and his share. But yeah, the trailer for, Wheel of Time is coming out. I like the first season, but it is a woman power. Women are great. So it doesn't follow the books, but I've never read the books. I just like the fantasy. I really like to be able to disconnect when I watch something because these politics and everything going on gets on my nerves. So I want to watch something that entertains me. And I kind of did like the first season, even though it does not follow the books. It is, if you're a Wheel of Time fan and you read the books and you like the book's story, well, it's not the same thing in the series. They decided to do something else, and it's woman power, but it is still okay in my book. I liked it, so I'm gonna watch the review later on. I've also started watching Special Ops Lioness. So it's a military series about women in the military. So, women power again. I watched the first two episodes and I liked it. But I like it in the sense that, okay, it is women power, but the women there are not saying that they are better than men. It's just showing that women can do a good job in these, area of expertise. It's not one woman who is, you know, an assassin and kills like 50 men because men are bad and women are good. No. It's just a woman in the military and she does a good job and takes the hard decisions in the military. So I kind of like the first two episodes. I don't know if the season's going to be any good, but I did like it. So I do want to do a couple of reviews on these series that I'm watching. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, you can watch my review of Barbie or my video about Barbie and why I'm not going to go and see it. I have friends that went and saw the movie and brought their daughter there, so they come back and they're like, it's not really for my children. I wish I had not bring my children to it. And the movie's message is the patriarchy and all men are evil. So I'm not going to go and promote a movie that says that I am evil. I don't think I'm evil. I just want people to think for themselves and find topics that unite us instead of dividing us. And I also want to do, those 3 videos about women. I don't know if you heard me yesterday talk about it. I want to make a video saying why women are evil. I want to, do another movie saying why women are okay and it's a good thing. And see which one gets the most views or the most comments. So, on a side note, uh, I don't know if you found my Rumble page or a link to my Rumble. I need 5 followers on Rumble to be able to uh, stream a live video there, and I only have 3, so I can't stream on Rumble yet. So anybody that can go there on my Rumble page and follow me there would really help me out. Because here in Canada, the government passed a law giving them the rights to censorship with everything I do on YouTube. So they want to bring in big media, big channels, promote their stuff on YouTube, and the little guy gets squished down and silenced. So moving forward, it will be harder and harder to find my videos on YouTube. So if I can branch out to Twitch, and if I can branch out to Kick, and if I can branch out to Rumble, I can get to more viewers than just staying here on YouTube, because our government wants to censor the little guy. Because I want people thinking for themselves. You have the right to not like my videos. You have the right to not listen to my videos. And you can have the right to go and watch some other videos. But our government is like, nope, don't see these videos. These videos will not be seen on YouTube. So that's not going to help me out. So, so things are just getting harder and harder for the little guy. I sometimes wish that, you know, our country was as great as it used to be. It used to be, in the 70s, 60s, well, 50s, 60s, 70s, Canada was a great country. Then the 80s came in, and a lot of us was bought out by the Americans, because the Americans had all the money. So everywhere in the media, it was American products. Big budget, America, and slowly Canada felt like it was selling its soul for money. And somehow this is where we ended up today. And I'm looking at some great Canadians. We used to, Canada is different from the United States. The United States has this freedom of speech, First Amendment. That is your first and foremost right, is to be able to say what you think. I'm not saying that you can talk about hate and like people need to kill people. Well, then no, that's a crime and you will be punished for it. And there's laws to go against that kind of stuff. But here in Canada, we don't have that First Amendment right of free speech. We have a law saying that you cannot be persecuted for your beliefs. And that's pretty vague because your beliefs is maybe, I'm allowed to think this about the government. I'm allowed to think this about the world around me, but I am not always allowed to express these feelings. Like, if I say that no, I don't like a certain individual, well, then that individual is allowed to sue me because me not liking him hurts his feelings. It's gotten to that point and it's gotten that bad. A comedian made a joke of a famous person, eh, and it's not even a court. It's a committee that decides if that person's not liking that celebrity caused damage. And I mean, a comedian makes fun of everything and everybody, but in that situation, it was not okay, and the comedian was found guilty. Another doctor of psychology here in Canada. Oh, I'm sorry, the power went off. Yeah. It happens to me here too, and we have some of the best grids on the planet Earth, and we still end up losing electricity. But welcome back. I'm happy that you're back because you're currently my only viewer that's having a discussion with me. So, what I was saying was this psychological psychiatrist doctor was analyzing because when the pandemic hit, the government passed a law that the truckers needed to be vaccinated to cross the border. And the vaccine was very controversial. It was rushed out. I myself had allergic reactions to it, which I was put out of commission for 3 months. For 3 months, because I was forced to be vaccinated. And some truckers did not want to go through that. Because if they are, you know, sick for 3 months, then they're not working. But then the government said if you're not vaccinated, every time you cross the border, you have to stay home for 2 weeks. So instead of crossing the border every day, they cross the border once, then they have to wait 2 weeks before they can go back to work. So it was just as bad as getting sick. So the truckers manifested and protested, and the government put the police in there and seized everybody's bank accounts and all this stuff. And this doctor was like, this is a breach of their fundamental rights. And for saying that, that went against the government's policy, he is going to court and he is facing criminal charges for supposedly inciting anarchy. So, not a good thing. The government's pretty much a total, okay, I can't even say it, but yeah. Whatever the government does and says goes. So you're not allowed to disagree with the government anymore, which is not a good thing. If you can't express yourself, we are going back to the ages where we have to say what we think secretly and not openly. We can't go on the internet and say, "Hey, I don't agree with what you're saying and what you're everything else." So that's not a good thing. Well, I don't think it's a good thing. We'll have to see. Time will tell. So that's it for my Friday rant show. Anybody out there that is listening, I would definitely like to hear your comments. If you have a subject that you would like my opinion on, please write a comment down below. And hopefully you will smash that like button, you will smash that subscribe button, you will smash that follow button. It would really help the little guy, which is me, which is everybody. Your voice matters, and this is how you make your voice heard. Express yourself. Don't be afraid to say what you think. Even if I disagree with it, I still want to know what is your pickle, and is there a way to find some middle ground that we can all get along? Or find a way that we can all move forward together as human beings. That's my message for the weekend. Think about that. Think about your reply. Just reply. Just post a comment. And please, everybody, be safe because I want to hear from you folks. See you in the next one. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Uh, whether it is on Twitch, YouTube, come and talk to me in Discord. The links are in my profile. It's easy to find. And I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you again so much.